not doing it. Even New York right now is passing a law where they're gonna have congestion pricing. I think is what they call it. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Nah.
So legit, what's gonna happen in New York? I believe it's supposed to start in 2024. So like next year. You see how you pay a toll to get across the bridge into New York? You're paying a crazy
Shit like
toll.
$20 right now, bro.
Now
Shit
they want to
crazy.
implement tolls just for riding in the city.
No.
So like you're driving and you make it to past 60th Street, and they're gonna have these like radar machines, and they're gonna charge you a toll just for driving in the city.
No way, bro.
Yeah.
As if they don't make enough money. Like, what?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, check this out.
Yo, nah, that is abuse.
New York City's Metro Transit Authority is moving forward with congestion pricing. Drivers entering the busiest parts of Manhattan will face a toll. The price hasn't yet been set, but the estimates range anywhere from $9 to $23. Politicians in New Jersey had been pushing back, arguing that drivers who already pay around $17 to cross a bridge or a tunnel into New York would unnecessarily be squeezed by this added toll. New York officials call it a quality of life enhancer. Yeah, reducing traffic, improving air quality, and providing resources for the city's transit system. Hey, it's going to improve things also because it will mean more people won't come back to work.
Like,
Why would you add this, add another reason for people not to come back to work when you say you want them here to eat in the restaurants, to shop downtown,
Right.
to do these things? The MTA says that it hopes the new tolling system will be operating by next spring. Those tolls will be enforced by
Get the
camera
fuck outta
systems
here.
that
That's
scan
the
license
problem.
plates as the vehicles
We can't, bro. We can't. I'm the type person that I think they got to take off the meters off the streets, bro. Like, why do we have to pay to park in Center City? Are you talking about I'm gonna have to pay to park and a toll? And then the problem is that, like, for example, at least like in New York, there's so many people already live there. Those trains and those buses are already so packed. Like they're just forcing people to move out of New York. Like at some point, like, all right, I understand it's New York City, but that's why Northern Jersey is getting so expensive. So many people moving there, or like Connecticut, some of the outside parts, because it's like, all right, people still want to go to New York for like the movements and the events and the shit and the stuff like that. But it's just like you making people not want to live there. And then it's dirty as fuck. Like it's all these people, and then they make it like they just keep making it way more expensive to live there. And like I like New York to visit, but I would never want to live there because of all these things that I'm saying. Like it's just. This shit is tough.
I would like to live in a loft in New York, like an industrial looking.
Yeah, but you got to make a stupid amount of money
Oh, yeah, of
to even
course.
afford that shit,
Of
and then you're
course.
getting taxed an even dumber amount of money.
Of course.
So it's just like, bro, like I don't know,
But
I don't get it.
That's
I wouldn't want-
abuse,
I
bro.
wouldn't wanna
Like,
live there.
And it's
For
not
real?
gonna be like it's like 50 cents or something. So I know like when you go to Florida, you're like, oh, you can get on the express lane and you spend like $1 or something to go faster.
But there's not even like there's barely any tolls in Florida.
This is
like,
gonna be $9 to $23 just for entering downtown.
No way, bro.
Like that's a ridiculous amount, and just in my mind, I'm crazy. That's just making people. I think little by little, they're making people live New York. Like leave
Leave
it.
New York,
More and more people are gonna leave it, and then even if I look back to like 2019 and prior, it's a whole different New York than it is today.
For sure.
Like every time I go up there for work, it's way different. A lot of the people that had money has left it, so it's not the same as it once was. It doesn't feel the same. It feels like the echo of when New York used to be in a weird way, which is crazy. I mean, I feel like that shit is happening more and more in any bigger city. Same
Why do
thing with
you-
Philly.
I feel like Philly's getting more people here now.
Of course.
Like more people are coming, like are continue to go down south. Like Atlanta's is continuing to grow. Charlotte, a lot of these cities are continuing to grow. It's gonna be the same shit. Like
But why do you think they're doing that though? Like, why do you think it seems like they have this agenda of like pushing people out, right? Would you guys agree?
no, I don't
Oh.
think they're trying to push people out. I think they're trying to make money.
I
So
don't
you
know.
think they're being greedy?
I don't know if they're being gritty. I don't even think the people making these decisions. I think they believe they're doing the right thing.
What are
right
the
thing of
congestion
what?
fees? What are they going towards?
I have no idea. Like I don't know. Like this is something that I heard about today. I was like, oh, this is crazy.
It is.
So I have to like I know it's like the MTA is imposing it, which is the people that run the bus and the train and so on. So to me, what got me thinking about it as we were talking about it, it's like, oh, this is like one of the ways that they're gonna want to force you to use public transportation to make it more difficult for you to own a car in New York. Because now you have more and more barriers to say, I don't want to own a. It's hard to park in New York. Now I got to pay for parking. Now I got to pay
Can't
for
be
tolls
impossible.
just to drive around the city. So it's like putting more and more barriers so you don't have to own a car.
and it's the MTA that's doing it. So you're gonna pay the MTA even if you got your car.
Correct.
The MTA is the transportation,
Yeah.
the
So
New York
So
transportation.
I don't know. To me, it's like I don't know why there's this like maybe to try to be greener, quote unquote. If we get people to drive less in their own cars or
And they're
whatever,
just gonna be on the bus. They're just gonna add more buses to the route. They're gonna be hiring more bus drivers.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. To me, it
Because that's
doesn't. I don't
public
think it really
transportation.
makes sense in that way. But however they're thinking about it, I know they think they might be doing it for good, but it's just getting to me. It just gets in the way of having the freedom to choose. Like you're making it without blatantly saying we don't want you to drive. We're going to make it extremely difficult for you to drive. And we're going to make it so only the wealthy can drive because they are the only ones that can afford it. Because this is only the beginning. And I remember when I first moved to New York, even just going over like the George Washington Bridge, it was like $7. Right now it's almost $20 just getting into New York, which is crazy.
Sounds like some Matrix stuff.
And then as soon as you breathe that New York air, that's like $10 right there. You go anywhere you stop, that shit taxed like a motherfucker. The 50 cent
Gotta
water
watch
is
your breathing out there.
$3. That shit crazy, bro. You try to get a hookah in New York, that shit's $65.
For
You be like,
no
what the
reason,
fuck?
bro. For no reason. And then a lot of the, well, I don't want to say a lot of the times, but I have had some trash hookah, like, and it was overpriced. Like,
Facts. Yo, let me get a shot in a beer, like 175. I'd be like, bro, I said a Corona and a fucking shot, so a regular
it's a bottle here in Philly, like,
God damn,
that's a bottle on the table.
this shit crazy.
It really is. I don't know why New York is like, I don't know. Because I would think that it's like a, pushing people out thing. But you even said rich people are even leaving New York.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like in my mind, it's like you're just taking away people's freedoms. And like as soon as you make it hard for people to have choices, which is what you're doing indirectly, I will move. I wouldn't be in somewhere where I don't feel like I have the freedom to move around in the way that I will want to. So but that's my mindset and my
Because
approach.
that's exactly what's gonna happen. That's what they think is gonna happen, and then all these people are gonna leave New York, and then they're gonna look at New York and then be like, all right, that shit didn't work in New York. We can't do that there. And then
No,
they
that's
fucked up, and then they're gonna take that shit back, and then New York
nah.
lost a whole bunch of
The
people.
problem is that they don't take that shit back. Like if you really, really pay attention, you can just look at history over the last like 12, 15 years. Like there's many cities that keep doubling down on some of the stuff that they've been asking or the laws they've been passing, even though it doesn't feel like they be working. Like if we take Philly as an example, we have places right now where, for lack of a better term, we endorse drug use by literally giving people needles and shit. And I'm like, don't tell me that shit is working. Like you can tell me that shit is working because it's making you feel good because you're reinforcing it. But I'm like, whoever passed that law should be mandated to walk on their own through Kensington. Just walk through Kensington
that
and see if you'll feel like if you feel the same way about it. Because I know
That
the people that
ass.
are making these decisions oftentimes are not even involved in the community to even
course not.
understand what they're passing. And the same shit. I was watching a video of like San Francisco and California and many of those cities right now where most of the big box stores are leaving because they're like, oh, theft is crazy. And now it's getting to the point that you have people like just slapping people in the middle of the street for no reason. And like, if you call the cops won't do anything. So it kind of like, it's more like doubling down more and more and more. It puts you in a place where you're like, fuck, like, do I even want to be in this big cities or do I even see it changing? Because it doesn't seem like they're even paying attention to the wave of weird crimes and shit that they're making by passing these weird things that are supposed to be helping.
And in that, I think you're reinforcing what I'm saying. And all those people leaving California and going to other places, Elon going to Texas, Joe Rogan going to Texas, and you see how much shit is changing and how much is growing. Florida, how much when all these people are going to different states is continuing to grow, and then California and New York people are leaving. They can't afford to live there. All this bullshit that's happening. I think it's gonna cause them to change something eventually. Like, all right, it might not. It takes long because in like politics and laws and shit, it takes time to pass. But when it makes a significant enough change, they're gonna have to change something because everybody's leaving these places. Because then the fucking all the writers and all this shit are on strike. So it's the one industry that's fucked that like really runs LA is all fucked up too. So it's just like people gonna keep leaving.
I know, but they're on strike because of AI and shit.
No, one thing
That's a whole
one
nother
thing doesn't
like
have to do with the I'm sorry to cut you off. One thing doesn't have to do with the other, but it's just the casualidad de la vida that is happening at the same time, where like LA is fucking burning and shit. California is burning, and then the like a lot of the people that are in this group. This I think it's like 100,000 people that are on strike right now. It's also happening, so it's making a really big shift, like a really big change and shit. You know what I mean? Like a big effect. And like it's just happening to all be happening at the same time, and it's gonna something's gonna happen. Like it's gonna boil over. Something's gonna happen because I don't know if you've seen that video that went viral today, and I think it was in Beverly Hills. They're running into the super expensive stores now, like 30, 40 deep. And just I think it might have been like Balmain or Louis Vuitton. It was one of these like high end stores. Just grabbed a whole bunch of shit and ran out. Nobody did nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just happening like super regular in California. How you saying people are getting robbed? Famous people are getting robbed. That's why they leaving too. And then nobody say rappers, people that are from there, athletes, everybody. So it's actors.
That's
I don't
true.
know. I think something's gonna happen. It's just a lot of things that just are all happening at the same time. I don't know if shit's always been like this, but we just happening to see it.
No, I don't think it's
So
always
much.
been like that, but I think we cannot be naive enough to not realize that that's what we asked for.
Not we.
Yeah,
I was in
technically,
California.
well, California, it was the same shit in Philly. Like with a lot of the stuff where we were like, oh, let's take money away from the police, let's defund the police is one way, for example.
I don't agree with that.
Or sure, but like the big cities did, right? So, and even the same shit in Philly. Philly, the cops got defunded. LA, all the major cities that are suffering through this wave of weird crime, if you really think about it, were the biggest proponents of let's defund the police and stuff like that. And so it's just a result. It kind of shows you it's like, oh, if I don't have any form of like law enforcement, then the laws are literally not going to get enforced. And then when they're not being enforced, who am I going to call when they're breaking into these stores and stealing? There's nobody to come and arrest people. There's nobody for you to charge them and prosecute them. So now you're in this weird dilemma of like, oh, now I want the cops to come get them. But like a year ago, you were telling me you didn't want the cops to be around. So it kind of creates this weird of like, hey, we're getting what we asked for. This is a repercussions. It's like every action has consequences.
Every action
And
is a
these are the
reaction.
consequences of those actions that we took a year ago. But we didn't take the time to be open enough to think forward. It's like, oh, what will happen if there truly are no cops enforcing laws? You know what I mean?
Be a purge.
I do got something to say, but I spoke a lot, so I was gonna let you say respond if you had anything to say, because I do got something to say. But,
No. Go ahead.
um,
I found it very interesting what he said.
yeah,
So
because that's true. That is true for an LA, for example. But I'm gonna just keep it on Philly. Like Philly didn't. I don't think that was a thing in Philly. Like I don't. I think in Philly is an understanding that the crime that happens in Philly is not like defunding the police isn't gonna help that. Like it's not police based. Like I think it's a cultural thing in Philly.
Now, I think
That's
it's
the
a mixture
problem.
of, I have to make sure of two things.
Because I don't think that they defunded the police in Philly.
They
If I
did.
remember, if
They
I
did.
feel
They
like
took the
they've just continuously been hiring police
No,
officers. Like I feel
they're
like
trying to hire more police, but I know at one point in time, cops in Philly were literally told, "Don't stop people, don't arrest people, don't approach people." Like literally,
wow, for
but
somebody.
real.
they took yeah, that's true. But they took that law right back. They took that shit right off.
Yeah, but now, right now, like water cops, like I know a few cops, and they were like, "Hey, I literally, if I get a call, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna take the long way there, because I know if I get there and all I gotta do is do the report, I'm not gonna get in trouble. But if I get there in the middle of something taking place and I take any form of action, there's an opportunity that something can go wrong and I'm being held accountable. So I'll get there and do the report, and I know my job is secure." And that's the type of people that now we have as police, because a lot of the good ones are
What?
gone because we pushed them out. You know what I mean? So technically, maybe we
Yo.
didn't defund it, but we got it to the point where we have cops
We
saying,
got a fucked up culture.
I'm like, cool, I'll show up and I'll just do the report and my job is going to be secure. So I'm no longer going to try to prevent crime from happening at all. I'll get there and I'll do the reporting. And that's all I got to get. I get paid to do
I
reports.
say
It's kind of like their
mine.
mindset.
Damn, that's so. Bro, I'm like shocked hearing this, bro. Like,
But like if you lived at but I understand them. Like I'm in a place where it's like, oh, if I go ahead and I do something, I get in trouble for trying to stop somebody that was doing something wrong. Uh, You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
I'm not only gonna get judged because now it's gonna be I'm gonna get judged by the media. I'm gonna get judged by the department. I'm gonna become the person that they're gonna fire because the people above me are not gonna want to take any responsibility for it. So my head is the one that's gonna roll. So I'm like, I want to expose my head. It's kind of like their mindset, which from a human nature perspective,
It makes
I
sense.
understand it.
No, yeah, it makes sense. So it's like a fucked up like culture in it. Like I don't know. Yeah, there got to be some form of change to that shit, to where they can feel like actually comfortable doing their jobs, because that's some shit.
Facts.
I mean, like, because honestly, I don't think cops really do like much preventing. Like, I think a lot of times they get a call and then like, all right, they go arrive. Like a lot of times that just really is how it is. They don't
Right.
really do much preventing. If you think about it, like if some shit happens in a crib or something like that, like.
But I don't know. I feel like we're at a point right now where people know that they were blatantly like I can literally go into a Ryder, grab shit, and walk out of it, and I ain't gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, I think that's where the problem is, though.
Like you know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
know I'm not gonna get in any type of trouble, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. And I think in Philly is a little different because there's a lot of guns in Philly, so I think people don't do a lot of the dumb shit they would do that they're doing in some of the other cities
Yeah.
because they know like if you go into a bodega and you try to steal it, oftentimes, hey, they're gonna shoot right back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a little different than like in California, where a lot of people don't have as many guns as we do here. So that I think that plays a little bit of a dynamic. But I don't know. I think we're living through interesting times. But I think the times that we're living through is a result of what we wanted as a society, of what we kind of asked for. We just
Can you even
gotta
say they wanted?
of what we wanted. I
Can
said.
you stop? I know, but I'm asking you to say they, motherfucker.
I'm not saying
Ain't no we in
I
this shit,
know
man.
still
Stop saying that
No,
we shit.
I the
didn't ask
reason
for
I have
that.
to say we is because I'm an American and I live here, and as
But
a
we didn't.
society, the majority elected these types of policies. So
Oh, we didn't.
even if I don't personally agree with some of them, the majority kind of agrees. So it's kind of like,
Agrees.
hey, we as a society have said that we wanted this. Now we're complaining about it. So I think saying we gives me a better approach because now I can say if we got to change it, then we all have to change it. If I say you and they, I'm creating that separation of always pointing fingers. I'm saying no, that other person did it. I don't think that, and it kind of
Makes a
creates
good
this
point.
fighting and this divide. If I just embrace it, like, hey, as a society as a whole, we said that we wanted this, and it's not working, then we need to change it as a whole too.
Yeah, because I think we having an honest conversation. I think that defunding is dumb as shit. I don't think people really meant defund, more like change it. Like if we're gonna spend so much money on it, like update it better. Like give them better training. Like teach them how to like defend themselves better, like offense, defense wise. Teach them how to shoot a little better. Put them in different scenarios. How to like deal with people more, shit like that. Like just train them. Maybe if we got to
A
train
lot
them a
of
little
them be
bit longer or
paranoid.
something, then train them longer, or a little bit differently, or I don't know something. I don't know
I
enough
agree.
about the
I agree.
process.
But I think one thing that a lot of people don't take into account is that if you've never dealt with somebody being aggressive, you can think of many scenarios of your head of things you would do.
Right.
If you never been in a place where like, oh, like somebody like trying to kick me, somebody trying to punch me, somebody trying to push me, how would I react and what would I do? There's certain things that you just do. Now, there's aspect of it of like I think should they get more training? I think so. Don't get me wrong. Like I
Because when
100%
they
like I believe like every cop should be at least a blue belt in jujitsu or something like that at a minimum. I'm like you should be able to train like once a week. You got to go and do certain type of like hand on hand combat and not even that grappling because as a cop you shouldn't really be striking. You shouldn't be punching.
yeah, you're trying to just subdue
But
them,
you
molest
should
them.
be able to subdue most people and I think 90% of people who get to like a blue belt on jujitsu you will control 90% of the population. If somebody hasn't trained, it doesn't take you any effort to control them. And there can be a difference in size of whatever. Like I feel pretty confident like somebody between my size and up to like 240 pounds, and they've never trained anything before, I can control them.
Ooh.
Like that kind of
Another
like
humble flex.
that's kind
Another
of like
humble
the
flex.
kind of confidence that comes from training on a daily basis. Now, if they train, it's a different story because they also know how to move. But I think cops should do that. But I don't think that's what people were asking. Because what a lot of people were asking for was, hey, if we defund it, maybe instead of sending cops to calls, we will send like a psychologist or something
Yeah, I
like
heard that stupid
or a
ass
social
shit.
worker or something like that. And for those type of things, I get it. But you telling me if you have to send a social worker, somebody's having a mental breakdown, what would you do if that person gets aggressive? Now you have to wait double the time to try to get somebody that can subdue them at that point.
I know a couple social workers. They all like females under 5'5". Like, come on, stop it.
Yo, but talking about aggressive, y'all seen the viral video of the
bro in Alabama?
Yeah, he was telling the dude that he couldn't park his boat there, and they left it anyways. Like they did that man dirty, bro.
I don't know. I saw it. I saw parts of it. I couldn't get the full story. I felt like at some point they were yelling, and then they started going at it, and then I just saw everybody got off the boat, and then it was just a full brawl.
The one boy swam.
Everybody was just going at it. Yeah.
Yo, for real. And then I seen like they didn't show like other parts of what happened in that video. There was a whole gang of niggas just coming out of nowhere, and they went to the boat, and then the one guy swung on him, boop, and then it was on like the little bridge. There was two of them on the little bridge, and there was a whole gang just coming after them. And then one got a good hit, and then they just started jumping. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was a bunch of them. I just saw like 20 people going at each other. But I couldn't make out. I was like, because I haven't really seen like the full set of videos. I'm not sure who was in the right or in the wrong, other than if you're not supposed to be parked there, why are you parked there? And then you're trying to be aggressive when they tell you to move. Like, that's the one thing I know.
That's what it seemed like. Yeah.
Like, that's the one thing that seems now. The fighting aspect, if you came out swinging because somebody told you to move from somewhere that you weren't supposed to be at, then I'm like, I think you're in the wrong there.
I mean, that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like in the video. Like, I mean, the two men were arguing, and then the other guy just comes out of nowhere and just does that dumb shit. Like, well, that was unnecessary. I mean, clearly they paid the price, but
I guess so. I don't know. I have to watch it like fully. Because it also gets me to think, I was like, are they drunk or something? I don't know. Because like, every time I see a boat, I'm like, were they drinking on this boat or some shit? I don't know. I'm like, right now, maybe. I'm assuming. So
but not the worker, right? Not
the worker. I mean the other guys. The guys that came from like for the boat that they were trying to get them to move. I'm like, would they drunk or something? I don't know. It was weird. I don't think it was right. If the worker...
The guy that he was arguing with didn't even swing at him. Like,
correct. I don't think so. It was interesting, to say the least.
That boy was swimming, though. I tell you that. I forgot the name.
Michael B. Phelps. Yo, that shit was hilarious, bro. Oh my God. I see it was a whole bunch.
Aqua Boy. They was like giving them all types of heroic names.
Yeah, man. That shit was hilarious.
That joint, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have been like aired out by the time I got done with that swimming. I'd have been there like, hold on, before jumping into the fight, because man, that was a lot. Like, it don't look like that much in the video, but that was a pretty good distance that he swam.
I seen one of the kids that got fucked up in the brawl. He made like a TikTok video and shit that went viral. I didn't watch it. I just saw his face. His face was all fucked up, and it said that in the caption. But I'm like, I'm not invested in this enough to like give a fuck to waste 16 seconds of my life to watch this shit. So fuck it, I'm gonna keep scrolling.
Oh, how fucked up!
Which I guess I should have watched it. That shit was bad, bro. He had two like purple black eyes, bro. Nose all fucked up, like, and then he was white as fuck too. So it was just like it just looked bad, bro.
Bro,
he looked like he really got his ass whooped.
I gotta see this.
And it was a TikTok video and shit, but I'm tired of these fucking random dickheads getting famous and shit popping up on my shit.
Oh, did they end up getting arrested?
A couple people, yeah, but I think they ended up letting them go and shit.
I just felt like that was like when I saw that, I was disgusted to see. It's like, come on, man.
So I have this video, which is something a little different that I wanted to go over, which is
Mia Khalifa.
Man.
But she's giving advice.
Her thought on marriage.
This is another. I saw this video. I saw this, and I was like, "I'm gonna keep scrolling."
I'm kind of scared to watch it.
All right, so here's 30.
I'm gonna play it. It's like
go ahead.
It's a quick video.
Oh boy.
We're comparing stats. Baby girl doesn't know that I am Tom Brady at this game. Married at 18, divorced at 21. Second marriage, married at 25, divorced at 28. Third engagement, engaged at 29, ended it at 30, but I kept the ring. We should not be afraid to leave these men. We are not stuck with these people. Marriage is not a sanctimonious thing. It is paperwork. It's something, it's a commitment you make to someone, but But if you feel like you're not getting anything from that commitment and you're trying, you gotta go.
So
I feel like she's about to say and ran through. I thought it was till death do you part.
it
What
might
the
have
fuck?
been. Yep.
That was a good guess.
Shit. But I really thought it was till death do you part, though. I thought that was the whole purpose of marriage.
I mean,
because I think when I was watching this, and my reaction was, it's interesting how so many people who cannot make a marriage work, or are not married, or haven't been married, are giving so much marriage advice.
Yep.
And 90%
They
of
have
the
the most
time,
of that.
the marriage advice is you don't have to be in it.
They're
You
the
can just
experts,
leave.
bro.
So to me, that's very interesting.
I mean, I do agree with the one thing she said. Like, if you're not getting what you're supposed to out of it, then, the obvious thing to do, or what you should do, is
Let's
leave.
not
Like,
marry them.
that's right. Like, well, I mean, because stuff like that can happen after marriage. Like, how, I don't know, you could be consistent with certain things, and then after a certain time, you kind of like lose out. Like, it all happens on both ends. Like, that thing that you do consistently that you would, I don't know, just do consistently, and then after time goes, you just stop, and then they'll tell you like, "Yo, you don't do this anymore, you don't do that anymore." Like, it's stuff like that can happen.
Yeah, but
So then that's when the divorce would, you know what I'm saying? But you, just because you're married, if you tried, like she said in that part, and there's no effort.
I'm sorry, but I'm like, if you're 30 and you've already been in and out of 3 marriages, you haven't tried.
Well, no, I'm not agreeing. I'm talking about specifically just that part. Like, if you are in a marriage and you are, doing what you're supposed to, and then the other person is not putting in that same effort, it's like, do you want to be
But
somebody
the effort will never be the same. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions of marriage. Like, you will never be able to measure your effort and say, oh, I'm giving 100% and she's giving 100%. Because you're human, and it's impossible for you to be 100% of something.
Right. But there's people that are users, for example, like, but sometimes you see that throughout time, and you should see that right away, but it's not like that for everybody. Hence why later on, like
they're users.
you know what it is. I think
like
shit
people
takes
could
time.
like, there's people that miss red flags, and it might take them till after marriage to realize these things, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
the shit happens. Like,
yeah, that's true. I get what you're saying, but on a regular, like in a relationship, just in shit, like assuming that it's like
but you should
based out of like
definitely,
love and shit,
you
like
should,
just a regular like
yeah,
shit that
like,
people will get married for. I just think that sometimes like we too fast with shit. Like
oh, for
shit takes
sure.
time. Like you might be dealing with some shit for like 6 months or a year in a
That's the
relationship
problem
or
with
some shit.
this generation. They
And
quit too fast.
yeah,
They quit too fast. Like, as soon as like one,
because that's why I think like how he said you've been in 3 marriages and
yeah, she don't
and
know.
a 10-year gap and a 12-year gap.
She's stupid. It was just that
No,
one little part. But
I think you can say she's stupid, but I guarantee you, if I go into her post and start reading the comments, there's going to be a bunch of people agreeing with her.
oh, of
'Cause I
course,
think
a
we're
bunch
living-
of strong women. Those are the
Because I think we're living in a time where
masculine
we are
ones.
taught to be selfish, and that's what's celebrated. It's not about,
Very true.
like, it's no longer about having honor or having responsibilities. It's more about, how do I personally feel all
Crazy.
of the
Andrew Tate
time?
said the same thing.
And if based on that, then you're kind of making a decision of like, I don't feel good, and this person is supposed to be making me feel good all of the time,
Yeah, that's wrong.
which is never going to be the case. Like, there should be moments of happiness, but I don't think happiness is a state that you will be in all the time. Because if that was the case, why aren't you happy all the time when you're alone?
It's a choice.
And then why? And if that's the case, why do you keep seeking relationships if you're better off alone, anyways? But I think we are often almost fighting against what our animal nature wants us to do, based on what we think society is telling us to do.
It's a race to the bottom between both genders. It's ridiculous. Would you agree?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm married. I've been married for
Yeah,
12
but
years.
you're aware though. Like, you
Like,
see stuff that goes on.
No, I get it, but I'm like, I never dated in the realm of like dating apps and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like that. I never got to be in that world, which I think is crazy. But to me,
Fuck you look at me for? Yeah, bro.
What?
I mean, yeah, I'm in that shit as well.
I'm
We both
thinking,
of us in that.
bro. I didn't even. I thought you was gonna say something. That's why I looked.
No,
no, like to me, it was just. I think it's just that one thing. It's all about the individual aspect of it, and we forget to go beyond and really care about what the other person is thinking or putting their not their thoughts, but putting them first and thinking of them
Right.
first, and sometimes making a decision based on the other person. And I don't think we're doing that as a society too often. I think we're often told you have to be happy, you have to be at peace, you have to be at this, you have to be at that, and you're focused so much on me that you forget to look at the other person, and then we're also taught to, if it's not working, it's always the other person.
Mhm.
The other person is the one that's not fulfilling what you need.
That
So,
lack of
so you're like in
self-awareness.
this weird spot of like when you're both thinking about each other as individuals and you're both pointing the finger at the other person to be at fault for whatever may be going on.
Right. Not only that, but what's pushed a lot in today's society is like women thinking that they don't need men. Like that sense of like independency. Like that's the goal. Like not to say that men don't need women. We both need each other. Honestly, right? Because in even biblically, if you want to take it to religion, that's what it says. Like we need each other.
Now let me play devil's advocate for this one because I don't necessarily disagree with this one, but I'm gonna try to put the hat of the woman.
Okay.
Are men nowadays, and I'm probably gonna say young men. I'm probably, and by young I'm probably say I don't know 40 and below.
Okay.
Are they worth being needed?
Well, there's a lot of. I'm gonna sound like Andrew Tate. But there is a lot of they have been saying that there's less testosterone in men in today's.
That's true, but I don't think that's what he meant. I think what he meant was like, what are we bringing?
No, I'm saying like
What the-
I'm about to bring it full circle. So with that being said, there's not a lot of masculinity, I would say, from men. You know, they're being programmed to be more soft. They're not the same. And then with that being said, women will then in turn not feel like they need somebody like that. It's like, oh, I'm more masculine than this person. Like I don't even think you'd be able to freaking save me if somebody broke into our house type of deal. You know what I'm saying? So then therefore they will feel like they don't need a man. You know what I'm saying?
And they're going to college more than us and shit. So that means
Yeah, there's
on average they
forgot the
probably making more than
statistics.
the younger than like a younger man. A man does a little like you know what I'm saying, like a younger man. So they probably just don't feel like they really need them and shit
But
for a couple
that's what's being
different.
pushed a lot
Yeah,
today.
exactly. Like they don't really need them for a couple of different things because then they're being pushed to like not even want to have kids now either. So
Yeah,
it's like, all right, if I don't want to have kids and I don't and like you can't fly me out and you can't do this and you can't do that, then
right.
what I want you for?
That shit is crazy to me, bruh. Like, and then you say stuff like that to women, but they think like, cause y'all need us. I'm like, well, I'm not saying we don't. I'm saying we need each other.
Then why aren't you telling men to become something?
What do you mean?
Become the type of men that women want you to be. And I don't mean it in a negative way. Because if you can acknowledge like, oh, women are making more money than we are, then you make more money. And I
Exactly.
guarantee that you're going to become more attractive to them
Of
in
course.
some way.
That's what I'm saying.
Or you become physically stronger, or you kind of build something out of yourself, which is kind of interesting because I don't think a lot of people are saying that. So I would say I can see how many men are like, they're a little softer, more often than not right now. Most men are. And then I think women believe they're harder. I don't think they really are, but they believe they are.
I like how you worded
Yeah,
that.
in facts.
I like how you worded
Both sides. That goes to that conversation that we were having the other day and shit. That I'm like, hold on, let me write this down and shit. Matter of fact, I got it written down real quick. We were talking about how saving money like it's for us, but in a dating sense, like when you go when you are out on a date with a woman or whatever, and you feel comfortable about yourself financially, like you just approach shit differently with a different level of confidence and shit when you good financially, when you feel good about yourself in all aspects and shit. To the shit that you were saying now, like when you build yourself up to that person that you want to become, I feel like shit is just come easier.
You think Shen? I think you carry yourself differently.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think
So like you attract more shit because of the way that you carry yourself,
yeah,
because of
I
the way these
think
things make you feel.
yeah, you're probably
Right.
more secure in yourself, so you're just
That's what I'm trying
not
to say.
afraid to be who you are. So you stop playing a character.
You shouldn't wait to get there to be like that, though.
Well, you can't be that way unless you're there, which is kind of interesting to explain. And I don't mean it literally because I think that one thing can be different depending on the scenario. So for example, like there's different dynamics. Like even like in high school, probably like the jocks or something tend to attract girls more often. So like if you were an athlete or something, so in that bubble, the hierarchy kind of leans towards like athletes or what women may be pursuing. And then it may be the same thing if you go to a college class and there's a whole bunch of scientists, whoever's the smartest in that room may be that person that attracts all the women. So it's a little different based on the
Go to the next level, and then when you become an adult and everybody graduates college, this is what
no.
we were talking about. This is, you see, we're going down the same rabbit hole.
Now what I'm gonna tell you to do is find a circle where you can be the big fish in the pond. Because that thing that we're often getting caught up on being the big fish in the whole world. So now you're
I
fighting
see.
or competing against every man in the world in all aspects of it. But you can even become the big fish in a pond at a job, for example. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
I'm like if I work, I don't know, pick a store. Like I don't know, become a Walmart or some shit. I work for Walmart. If I become one of the best employees of Walmart, become a manager or something, I become kind of the top dog in
Right.
there, then within that realm,
That's your
I'm the
pond.
person people look up to. Correct. And I think we're in a place where we, instead of trying to find our pond and make sure that we're shining inside that pond, we want to swim in the ocean and try to be the biggest fish in the ocean.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with what you said earlier about you can't be that way unless you're there because it could be a mindset thing and it would be a like let's say I mean it's kind of common thing cliche but like I'm a millionaire if you say it enough times you'll believe like if you manifest it in that way, right, and if you're serious about it you eventually will get it.
Yeah, but you'll
God
be a
willing.
millionaire once you're a millionaire, not when you were believing it.
No, of course. Like the actual, like.
You can't take beliefs to the bank. They be like, "Yo, I got a million beliefs." Man, I'm saying,
No,
cash
but I'm
me out.
saying if you, like if you, oh man,
No, I get what you saying, bro. I'm just
that
smacking.
joke is killing my shit.
No, but because I
That was
get
a
what you're
good one.
saying.
No, in a literal sense, yes, but I'm saying when you believe it, you can become it. Like, but you're not. Of course, you're not it yet.
Correct. So how is that different
So,
than
like, if you want to be, for example, if you want to be a bodybuilder, right? For example, you want to be strong, you want to feel strong. You mentally tell yourself you're strong, so you build that consistency of going to the gym and you lift heavier. That kind of like boosts your
I
Your
think you
confidence in it, but because in
and
that
because of that you
you're
could do a
seeing
little
it
more.
materially with your eyes, and you're like, and when you start in month 1, and then you go to month 3, and you're like, oh, and you go, and if you write it down and you keep up with it, you're like, oh shit, I'm actually going up in weight.
Wait, yeah.
You see it and you feel it. You're like, oh, okay, so it's easier to grasp it. But when it's not something that's like that you can't like look at it like
Yeah.
that, like there's no way to really
But of
gauge
course,
it
in a
like
literal
that.
sense, you're not,
It makes like I think that's where we get fucked up at.
but I guess what I'm trying to say is like mentally you can be it, not, but like,
cool. So I'm gonna give you a scenario,
okay.
and I want you to use the same logic and try to break it down.
Oh, damn, he's
Okay.
about to hit me with some shit.
How would you say that to a group of women? Let's say we have 5 of them, and they all tell you I'm a 10. In the beauty scale, I'm a 10 because we all believe we're 10s. Break it down using that same exact logic.
Damn. No, you know what? You got me.
they gotta do the things to become whatever. Like
No, what I'm saying is
to,
that logic doesn't hit. It's the same thing. The same way we want to hold women accountable, it applies to men. Like it's
But when becoming something,
but I think it's a little different. Let's say if we use the bodybuilder scenario, one thing is me believing I'm a bodybuilder, and another thing is me starting to practice the habits that it takes for me to become a bodybuilder. I think that's different because I think if I just tell you, "Oh, I believe I'm a bodybuilder,"
but
but I'm not,
you can
but I'm not,
inhabit it
but
though.
I'm not going to the gym, then you're not really gonna believe it. But in my mind, I believe it. But if I'm the type of person who's at the gym every single day and you see me lifting and I'm eating right, even if I don't look like one, I'm already embodying some of the elements of being that.
Right.
So you're already living part of that lifestyle. So it's easier for you to portray it and carry yourself as such.
That's kind of what I'm saying though.
No, you were saying you can just believe it.
No. I'm saying believing it but also
backing it. Yeah, you added some other shit like also backing it up or also
yeah.
like doing it or something like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you can't just believe it and not do nothing. Bro, no. I don't think like that at all. I'm saying you gotta believe it, but also put the work behind it. You know what I mean? Like becoming a millionaire, for example. Like, but you gotta put the work behind it. Now, in a literal sense, yes, you're not a millionaire, at least not yet. But if you're doing what you need to do to get there, you'll be that.
Possibly. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Right.
You might be.
You don't agree? You don't like
No, because I'm
I think with being a millionaire is different than weightlifting. But
no,
That's just
even
an
the same,
example.
even the same thing with a millionaire. Because like I think you can be doing things that are required for you
build
to
businesses
for you
or
to
you,
get there.
you know what I'm
Like
saying?
you
Like
can be hustling
that's
after
whatever.
it. So I can understand it. I'm just I'm a bit, I don't want to say critical, but I'm a bit kind of doubtful when somebody says you have to believe it or just like do it in your mind, like do it like you, because you do have to believe it, and I understand that. But I think we're living in a society that just saying because I deserve it or because I'm envisioning it or I'm, what is the other terminology that I hear a lot?
Manifestation.
Like I'm gonna manifest it is
Yeah.
going to happen. I think that's bullshit. I completely think
Without the
manifesting,
work, if
but then that's not manifesting. That's working for it. You get what I mean? Manifesting
so you
something
can't
is
do
just,
both, is what you're
I
saying.
think manifesting something is just going to appear. That's the
Okay.
manifestation.
Okay.
But like if you're working for it, then that's not manifesting.
So you
something.
can't envision you having something, is what you're telling me?
Well, you can envision it, but you need to take action in order to achieve it.
But that's what I'm saying.
But I don't think that's when people say that. I don't think everybody's saying it the way that you do. There's a lot of people that would say, "Well, I'm manifesting," for example. And
Yeah,
okay,
there's that. Yeah, no,
okay.
there's that definitely.
So
I've definitely seen a lot of that.
the actual word, because in the way that you're saying what you're saying, you're right, because that's the way that the word manifesting is used.
Yeah.
So I agree with what you're saying, but in the literal term of the word, it's display or show a quality or feeling by one's acts or appearance, demonstrate. So I think be evidence of, prove. So I feel like in manifesting, it would be like it's not just saying, it's actually doing it.
yes,
So
but
in the literal definition of the word,
Right.
but in the
Yes.
way that like people have taken it,
In
is more
today's-
is like that.
like
Yeah.
I hear people, like I hear women saying, "Oh, I'm manifesting a husband."
And then they
Well, what are you doing?
out drinking every weekend, you know what I'm saying, doing what they do.
Standing too close to the hose.
Bird of a
Can't tell the
feather, you know what I'm
difference.
saying?
So that's kind of like my mindset on it. It's like it's
No, we're on the same
To the
thing
hose.
though.
I saw a clip like that was like, oh, sometimes like y'all standing too close to the
the hose
hose,
and
so
we
we
can't
can't
tell
tell
the
the difference. Yeah, I think did you send me that shit?
Yeah, I did. He was like you're not going to sit there and look at a pack of lions and think they're gonna bite you.
Like yeah.
I forgot the rest of the drum, but when he said that, I was like, "Dang, he made sense." He was like, "You're not gonna sit there and think which one's gonna bite you. You know."
It's all lions.
Yeah, that's
You know what it is.
exactly. So if you're around all hoes, like we not can't see the difference. I like that line.
Now I have a question. This
What's
is
up?
going to the more literal sense. So in between the man and women dynamic right now, do you believe that we value what is difficult for the opposite sex to achieve? And what I mean by that is,
No.
for example, I feel like, for example, getting sex for a woman is not difficult. It doesn't take skills. It just takes them saying yes or no. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it takes more discipline for them to say no to more men and to have less sex. And the opposite is the opposite for men. Like, it's more difficult for men to get sex because you have to go out there and get it, and you have to almost fight for that yes in some way.
Right.
So do you believe, because of that dynamic, it is more acceptable for a man to be, what would be the word? To be more out there than a woman in society? Or we're kind of now fighting that dilemma?
Uh, I'll let you answer first.
Um, I feel like, yeah, is it more acceptable? And yeah, and that way, yeah, because I feel like we got to shoot more in a sense.
But but I don't know I don't know if I articulated the question right. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like, for a woman, if a woman wants to have sex, I can guarantee you, she go to any guy, she'll probably
Yeah,
get any, right? But if a man does the same thing, that's not difficult.
that's creepy.
So do you think women value men that have had access to more women in the past than they would somebody who doesn't get any?
I think so.
But because normally the guy that is getting some though is for a reason.
Right.
So I don't think they're necessarily valuing the fact that he's getting some, but it's just like
Girls,
he's doing something to attract these women for a reason.
girls,
Correct. And he can be attractive for any reason, but girls seem to be attracted to that more.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Girls seem to be attracted to the guy that really kind of gets the girls. Like,
Yeah, I agree with that, but it's not. But I don't think that's what's attracting them per se. That like they might think that like, oh, it's because the guy fuck a lot of hoes or whatever. I get what you're trying to say, or he sleeps with a lot of women. Like, I get
yeah,
what y'all saying, but I just don't think that's what it is. I think that for whatever reason that the guy is bagging all of these women is what the woman likes.
Okay, but I'm saying, and then the opposite is true. Like, are you attracted to a person who's more reserved, or somebody who's been with more men?
nah, more reserved for me. I'm gonna be honest.
Why?
Nah, for me, it's I'm attracted to the person. I ain't gonna lie. I don't like I don't like some hoes that I'm like, damn. I'm like, yo, I told you this before. I don't like. I'm like, I know she a hoe, but but like, I like her. That don't mean I'm gonna be with her. But you asking me, could I like her? Yeah, like that. That's not gonna
Yeah,
stop me from.
yeah, yeah.
That's why you like, you a hoe, like, and all that shit. Like, you cool. That's why I like you. Like, because you've been around men, so you comfortable. Like, you know
Yeah, but
what.
you just admitted that you're not taking them seriously. Like, you'd be around them, but would you marry them?
Would you marry them? You said,
Everybody's definition of a hoe is different. So I might marry a woman that I might not consider a hoe, but somebody else might.
hold on. Wait a minute.
Now, are you asking me, would I marry a woman that I consider a hoe? Honestly, man, I'm gonna keep this shit all the way stacked. It depends how much I love her.
Oh
It
my
depends how much I love her.
God.
It's like I
You
don't
said
know.
love is love. Love
I
is
don't know.
love.
I'm gonna be. I would never know she's a hoe like that. I wouldn't know. I'm like, all right. I could tell.
I didn't
I
know.
could.
I
No.
didn't know.
Hold on. I could tell if you've been with more than two or three dudes. I could, like, all right, I could tell by the way you move. All right, cool. But I'm never really gonna know the exact number that how many you have, because I'm never gonna ask you.
Right, right.
So
I don't.
it's
I
just
don't really think you should
I'm
ask.
never really gonna know. So at that point, as long as you didn't sleep with nobody that I'm very close to, it's just like, I might end up marrying a hoe because I don't know.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But what do you consider a hoe exactly?
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, I don't even know, man. At this point, it's just like, I got it. Like, for real. If like some crew love shit. If I see you like you was fucking with the homie, and now you over here trying to fuck with me or whatever, like that, I'd be like, all right, I know I definitely can't take you serious. Like, that's basically just that's really the only thing that stopped me, like, from thing,
Mm,
like, at that. Or if I see you doing like some wild shit, like, because I know there's women that I done seen them get with a whole bunch of different dudes. I done seen them. Every time I see them is with a different dude. I'm like, that's a little wild.
For me, just have morals, bro. Like, just have some good morals.
Is that bad morality? Like taking a bunch of dicks? I don't understand.
I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Man, that phrasing it like that is crazy. But but yeah, I mean, that shouldn't be that shouldn't be the thing, and I feel like that is like what's common now. Like, I don't know. From what I've seen and witnessed, my own personal experience, like that, I've seen that that's like the common thing now, and it's almost like celebrated
All right,
in a
man. So,
sense.
what's a hoe to you? What you think? Let's talk about that, because now let's get into it, because we've talked about this shit, and our definition of hoes is so different. He think a shorty with like 2.5 bodies is a hoe. Like
Whoa,
she
whoa,
got
nah,
two
you
dicks and a
capping.
dick suck, and
Nah,
now she a hoe. Like, bro,
nah,
like
nah.
she
A hoe is a
27,
girl
bro.
that
Like,
don't settle. Like she just hold
but
around.
what if
Like
she tried to settle, and then like
like
she's
is
just
she
not
in a
the right
relationship
one?
and she not like what I mean by settling is like she's in a relationship and she cheating and whatnot. Like
Okay, I can see where you.
you know what I mean, and just not
I mean, and if there was a
taking our
woman
life
here, she
serious,
would
whatever.
justify that by saying that there's probably a reason that the man, like, she cheated because the man some shit that doesn't make her a hoe. She probably did that bullshit.
I'm just saying, like, I definitely see value in a woman being moral and being more reserved because it's like okay that that means there's less people that touch her. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like I don't know, like I know for a fact that a lot of guys value that. I'm one of them. I'm one of them that value that, like, and more on a religious standpoint, and not to say that I'm incapable of loving somebody who's also maybe have not been so reserved
Hmm.
in a sense,
Yeah.
or anything like that, but because anything can happen. I mean, you can sit there and say whatever, but literally anything can happen.
This motherfucker up here potting, bro. I'm telling you, you gonna meet a hoe that you gonna be like, yo, I ain't gonna lie,
No,
if you
I
stop
have.
hoeing right now, bitch, I will fuck with you. I ain't
I
gonna lie,
have.
like, cause she do all this shit that you like, man,
And it
cause
just be like, it'd be a
she
bummer,
know how to
bro.
treat a man, cause she done been with a bunch of them. That's just what it is. Like,
But they don't just settle for one, though. That's the problem.
I mean, hey, man,
But I'm saying, I know exactly what you're talking about. I have, sadly.
all of us do.
It
All of
just
us
be
have.
like,
Well,
it'd just be
goddamn.
such a disappointment. It's like, if only you could just, ah, man.
Yeah, but you can't. That's what she probably say the same shit about you. She'd be like, "Damn, if only that motherfucker was 2 inches taller." But that's
Hold on,
life.
motherfucker. Hold on. I'm taller. No, all right.
No, I was just trying to think of
I'm
something
messing
real
with
quick.
you.
You good? Yeah.
I mean, girls really care about that shit. Like that's the standard. You got to be above 6 feet usually.
Man, I don't. That shit don't matter, man.
Oh man.
It doesn't hurt. I don't think.
You
but
know what does hurt? These niggas that are getting the knees extensions to be taller, bro. How their arms don't even match their like leg length.
this
You
shit
ever
is.
seen the
That's
pictures?
the boy the boy BBL and shit. The That's crazy.
Bro, this nigga's out here really getting like I call it extension. Damn, I can't even say it right.
Knee
Bro,
extensions.
you see like this like metal joint like sticking out, and they have to sit with that for some time. Like it just is weird. It's all like drilled. I don't even know how to explain it, bro. It's just some
I blame the internet, bro.
definitely 1000
Motherfuckers used to be
percent.
cool with being bald and shit, being short for whatever, but everything was acceptable back in the day. Like bitches had hairy ass pussies and shit. Like watch the old porns. They used to have a super stretch and like that shit was acceptable. It was normal. Ask the old head. Old heads love that shit. Now they be like, man, these young bitches, they be shaving that shit. Da, da, da. I don't know, bro. It's
Bro,
just like maybe some shit like is meant to change, some shit
you
isn't.
see? Oh, is
But
this
yo, but sorry, just real quick, I didn't want to forget. I don't think being a hoe is bad morality though. I don't think that's bad morals. You know what I'm saying? But
on a
I
religious
do
standpoint I
understand.
was speaking of.
I do get what you mean though. That yeah, like men necessarily no. Like I get what y'all are trying to say, that men don't necessarily want a woman that's been with a bunch of dudes. But You know,
I
it's
don't know.
life.
So for me, it would be a little different because I think it will be very difficult because now you have to, and now I'm almost talking from a perspective because I cannot give you a specific example. How would you deal with all of the expectations that she may be coming with now? Because I think something that I think I value, like as a husband, is that having the ability to provide experiences uh, that like make me feel valuable. It's like, oh, like not just like a trip or something, but provide different experiences. And she's already lived them with someone else. What is there left for you to introduce when she's lived it with so many different people in the past before you?
That's a good question, and I get that, but I mean, that like I can't do nothing about it. She lived those experiences in her life, and she might have been in, and it's not even that she like it was a hoe because she could have just experienced these shit. She might have been in two relationships her whole life from 18 to 30, and in both of these relationships she might have got married or she might have had a kid. She might have gone through a bunch of experiences. So by the time that I meet her, like I'm meeting her out of these two relationships, it's like she done experienced everything in life. Well, not everything in life, but I hope like a lot of these
But even
relationship
that's
things that
very
like
different. Like I don't know, like if you like, I think even if somebody might have been like, if you meet a girl that was married to two people, like or had two long-term relationships, I guarantee you that is very, even if say from the moment she's 18 till she's 28, 10 years, she's been in two long-term relationships in those 10 years, and then you meet her, that is very different than meeting someone that's been in 18 relationships in those 10 years. Like, which one would you pick if you had to pick? Like, from a looks perspective,
From a looks
personality
perspective, I know
perspective,
exactly how it is.
everything's the same. Only difference is one was in two relationships, the other person was in 18.
I mean,
What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
but that's not real life though, because you're saying if everything is the same, obviously every man in the world is always gonna pick the two, the shorty with the two. I would say if you lined up 1,000 men, 995 or like 990 would say the two, and then there'll be the 10 freak ass boys that's like, no, give me the other one, 'cause she got experience, she gonna fuck the shit out of it. That's gonna be the 10 freak boys. Everybody else is gonna be like, no, we're gonna take the two, but that's not real life. That's not a realistic thing. Like if we talk realistically, it'd be like that. But then the one that got 18 bodies is the one that you like. It's the one that with 18 relationships is the one that treats you better. Is the one that does the things that you like. She the one that fuck you good. She the one that does this for you. She massage you. She how is it? She knows all the things because of these same experiences that she been in. There's also some kind of like pros to it too. Because she know what to do when certain shit pops up. She been through the situation.
Comes with experience.
Like the cops when they gotta fight somebody and they ain't never been through it, they do the bullshit. So
Okay.
yeah.
So then in my, you see, so like my head starts, and maybe I think too logically. I'm like, if you're this good of a woman,
Somebody with a wife too.
why are you still single?
Exactly.
Yeah. Now that's the real that's the question of the real life. Like that's the conversation right there. Is that question.
Because
Yeah.
I think because now what I'm hearing is, and it's interesting to say, we're trying to justify what we say, what we know is like, oh, it sounds like most men would prefer somebody who has less bodies, right?
Yeah, of course.
But now we're trying to justify and reason. It's like, oh, it's okay if they do because they may treat me better as this and this and that. But then we're like skipping over, hold up. Then why is she still available?
Yeah.
Like
Pros and
there are
cons,
so
everything.
many other things that kind of come with it that is kind of
Same.
like, and then what emotional trauma probably comes with that. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm thinking like if you maybe somebody had two relationships, there's some baggage that probably comes with it, like some stuff that'll probably trigger her, but it's only based on maybe two experiences. Now you have to deal with triggers that come from 18 experiences, 40 experiences, 50
You gotta also
experiences,
keep in
whatever the
mind.
case might be.
That's a big fact.
I mean to cut you off, but you guys also keep in mind that's two like relationships that were long term. So obviously there was a lot of sex happening that you gain experience from too. Like you,
No, I'm just saying.
so that could be she could have the same amount of experience.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm just trying to give some different points of view, some different things. Like, because we sitting here three men. So, you know what I'm saying? If women, let us know in the comments how you feel about this conversation. Chime in. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Like, comment, subscribe, share. And, you know what I'm saying? Hop in this conversation with us. We would love to hear y'all's perspective. Because that's definitely something that I'm interested in, like, and seeing is like something we talked about the progression of the women that are like all outside and doing all that shit now, how do their relationships continue to like progress? Like sometimes I go on Instagram and I look at some of the people that I follow from like afar, and I'll just be like, damn, like, and I'll see how what like certain families like. I'm like, damn, like these motherfuckers been together for a long ass times. They got kids and all this shit. And then there's some people that I follow. I'm like, damn, she got 2 or 3 baby dads. She got 4 baby dads, and I'm like, damn,
Like,
that's.
damn,
I wonder what it
what's
is.
going
Like
on?
I've always I've always wanted the. I'm saying curiosity killed the cat, but
I mean, it could be many things, bruh. Like it could be a lot of the times that like there's been a thing where they say that divorce rates, you know, they're high, and that most of it was of women leaving their men. You know, that's why like the woman really there's a higher rate of women divorcing their men. Now, why do you think that is?
they just. I think they give. I don't know. I feel like people are giving up a little faster than they used to and shit before. Like I don't know, like how we watched that clip before. Like she was married a couple times and shit like that. Like try to make them some relationships work.
So she's
Some
a
of them are
perfect
working.
example. Like, think about it. She's been married twice, proposed, about to get married again, right? And now she's hitting 30, and she's encouraging people. And she used to be a porn star.
Yeah, she's like in her mid
And
30s.
and now she's encouraging people to like, hey, you don't have to stay with people like divorce. Like, it almost makes me think, what do you think that her story is going to be when she's 35, 40?
This is what I'm saying. I think she's like around 35 now. So I want to see the life
I don't think
progression.
she's that old. I think she may be like 30, 31.
I want to
don't
I
think
want to
she's
see
that
her at like 45, 50.
Oh, of
Because
course.
we're starting to see a Black China now that's like going to church and like taking like tattoos off and BBLs off and all this wild shit. We don't really see her in the news anymore because the last couple times
Yeah,
here
she
it's her trying to
disappeared,
clean
bro.
her life up. Yeah. So like, and that's not like something that's big headlines. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to see like the core progression of some of these people, or like some of these
They
celebrities,
be
because it's like,
delusional, though, because they think like, well, I wouldn't say a lot of there's women that think, oh, I'll be fine with being single for the rest of my life. Like, mm, no, that wait when you get older, you don't have that family, you don't have kids. Like that's when that shit starts to kick in, and that's when a lot of them be miserable because they don't have that.
or I don't know any,
But but
women like that. That's what I'm saying. I want to see what's gonna happen
You don't know any more women how
that are like older and miserable with no kids and shit like that.
miserable with no kids. I think there's gonna be
they
the
be sad
opposite.
about it.
I think there's gonna be, as I see it,
There's gonna be more single
there's
moms.
gonna
with-
be a lot of single moms with like multiple baby daddies and stuff like that. I think that's becoming more of the norm. Of
Damn, man.
that
is
I
the
think we're
sad
gonna see
truth.
a lot.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, of course.
and I think a lot of the responsibility, I don't think, is only on the women; it's also on the men.
Of
Social media hitting like crack in the 80s, bro.
What?
This shit breaking families
Worse
up.
than crack.
This shit
Yo.
breaking the whole houses up. God damn.
Shit, we're hitting worse than crack, bro. That thing is taking over. It's taking over.
I'm like, we're seeing the age of social media. I think the next age is going to be the age of OnlyFans. Because I feel like in 10 years from now, when kids are like 14, 13, 14, and they can see what their moms were doing, that's when you're going to see like a whole different level of like shit.
Yeah.
I used to
man.
think that, but the
Oh
more time
my
that's
gosh.
passing by, I think that's starting to go away. Unless your parent is a celebrity. If your parent is a celebrity, or for the people that today aren't celebrities, and you don't know that tomorrow you're gonna be one, you're kind of fucked a little bit. People are gonna have seen you getting drilled and shit by like the kid from like down the street or whatever. But for I think it's only gonna affect those people. But for the average person that isn't famous, I don't think it's really gonna affect them unless like somebody goes out of the way to like have them like blackmail them or whatever. But I think
Yeah.
if you're not famous, like you can just delete that shit. I think like I don't think that's gonna stick through.
Once,
I think it's gonna be like
once it's on
threads.
the internet, it's not deleted.
Yeah.
But how can you look something up is the thing. Because how am I gonna go out of my way to find X person's OnlyFans in 20 years from now if they never use their name, or like they just put like a random ass ad or
Bro,
whatever.
like you can right now Google shit by using a photo. Like imagine in 10, 20 years from now. Like I Google my name all the time just to see what comes up. I can only imagine when I'm like, oh, let me see what my dad used to be, and my son uploads my photo, and everything that I've done where my face appears comes up. That's possible. That's gonna be for sure something that will happen in the future. It's like, oh, there's my dad. Let me see where he's been at, what videos he was on, or whatever the case might be.
See, he thinking about some other shit. He thinking in 2050 right now.
I'm thinking in 2023. Literally, if you go to Google, there's a thing that calls images, and you can drag a photo, and it will search based on that photo.
I actually seen an ad for that shit today on one of their phones. They put that shit that if that same shit, if you take a picture of something and like they run it through like a system order and they tell you the name of that.
It's AI.
So yeah, it's like I already see the starts of that shit where they have it's like that simply on the phone of like
That's
whatever, like
crazy.
oh this is called the boom, 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 boom.
But I feel like social media is good when you know how to utilize it. You know, whether you create an income or actually no, the only way I can see it is like really when you create an income.
I don't even see it because I think we view it differently because we come from a couple different eras. I think we lived during the era that we might have been alive without internet, and now we lived before social media and with social media. So we view it as an opportunity to maybe make money and monetize it or something like that.
And for connecting is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you have people that, and especially kids that maybe were born in like 2000 and they're 22 now, 23. So since they've been able to reason, social media has been a thing.
Yeah.
To them, that's just their norm. Like even when I see like my niece, like she will spend the entire day on an iPad talking to her friends on a call that's never ending while they're playing Roblox or whatever. And I mean for hours. And like that's their norm. Like they don't hang out in person every day, but they're like on and in
They're
kind of
connected
socializing
digitally,
in a different way all the time. So I think it's just going to be different from one generation to the next. I think they're going to use it in a very different way, and the value of social media is going to be different.
I feel like it's gonna get to a point where it's gonna sound crazy, but like it'll be close to like a currency, like a type of currency.
It is.
And in a way, yeah, I would say in a way now it is because it gives you a certain validation. Well, for most in society, like
Yeah, like
it's like you get like if you have a lot of followers, you have like a certain status.
It is a currency
yeah.
now. Like
Add a couple zeros to your following count, and people are gonna treat you differently.
Right.
Like, should
Yeah.
interact with you differently socially, at least. Not necessarily always in person, but at least socially on
Right.
Instagram and shit.
What was you gonna say though?
no, like it's different now. Like now, not as much because you can buy the check marks and most of these platforms. But that was a status symbol in many places. You get what I mean? And like whenever you went somewhere and you have 500,000 followers, a million followers, you get treated differently. Like you can literally go and take a trip entirely for free, stay in a 5-star resort, have an experience of a lifetime, and don't pay for anything just because you have access to influence and followers. So it is a form of currency right now.
Yeah, you're right.
I think it still has some form of value, not necessarily the blue check, but the people that can actually like affect things with their following. Like there's people that have followers that actually interact and comment, buy clothes, go to shows, buy tickets, and all this shit that really pay for Patreons and all kinds of shit like that. And then there's people that have double or triple that these people's followings and can't get that interaction, can't sell shirts, can't sell tickets, can't sell shit.
It's crazy to me that yeah, you make a good point. It is a currency. I seen it reminds me of an episode from Black Mirror, and I wish I knew exactly what season it was in, but it was this white girl and everybody was on their phones, and then like literally if the followers go up, like of course their status is up, and then if it goes down, like they can't, like they literally like turned poor in a sense. Like it was crazy the way they played out the episode, but it's like it was actual currency. So like again, like if you have a small amount of followers, your life was pretty much poor. Like nobody liked you, and your clothes even changed damn near. And I was like, wow, like the fact that, but the episode was pretty much trying to tell us where we are currently and actually where it's headed further. Like that episode of Black Mirror had me mind blown for real, because it was so eye opening. Because that's literally what it is in today's society.
Yeah, I ain't never seen that show before, but I heard they have a bunch of shit like that.
Yeah, no, I didn't really keep watching that. Them episodes, it's crazy. They got too crazy for me, if I'm being honest.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. You lucky you came this week, bro. We was talking all this shit about you last pod. It ain't dropped yet. I ain't gonna lie, we was talking all this shit about you.
Who?
Mainly him, and I just kind of co-signed it a little bit, but it was mainly him. He was like, "Bro, this motherfucker took all his PTO and all this." It's like, nah, that was me, bro. I did say that. This motherfucker, you did 2 pods, took all this PTO, man.
I
I was
know.
happy you back, bro.
I don't know. I did that
Figured I gave
was,
you some shit, man. Had like 101 sick hours and shit. Used all them shit.
bro. I literally have no more PTO, bro.
Yeah,
I'm done
shit load.
for the rest of the year. Sad as hell. Sad as hell. I only got like probably like I think 5 hours of sick time.
Bro, I got 4 hours and I'm sick. I'm mad I wasted my hours. So I'm bullshit. Shit that was not worth it. I ain't been to the beach once this summer.
Damn, for real.
Yeah.
I don't really
Been to
be
the
hype
beach
about the
once.
beaches here in the States, for real, for real.
Cause you from Jersey, but not really, man. I don't know how you fake from Jersey, man. Like
Get out of
not fucking with the beaches, man.
here.
I know if you're not from Jersey, you're gonna think I'm a dirtbag, but it's just a part of the culture, man. I can't help it.
Yeah, I can't help it.
We got a fan question, and that made me think of a couple more questions. But I'll start with the fan question. How long have you known your closest friends?
Damn, how long have I known you for? Would you say 7 years? Well, kind of, because we like
Yeah,
there was
like
like I
6
knew
around
of you
there.
for a long period, but we
7
didn't get
years.
close to like,
Yeah, probably like 6, 7.
right? And then another
Something around
one
there.
of my friends is I think going on 10 years. That's
Yeah,
about
probably similar to that. Probably
10
like
years and
you, probably like 8. Another
3.
one maybe like 15. Type shit, like little kids. But that's probably it. My 3 closest friends and shit.
Yeah.
What about you? You got over there?
33 years and 17.
La Creta. Damn.
This nigga talk. They got to be assistant, nigga. This nigga know that his whole motherfucking life, nigga. Damn.
No, like one of
Jeez.
my best friends, I was born, we were born 3 days apart. And we were neighbors. So like
Y'all say y'all been cool your whole lives and shit.
literally, yeah.
Fire.
That's crazy.
fire.
3 days apart and they're neighbors.
Yeah. We were neighbors, not anymore, but
Well, wait, what were?
yeah, like
Cause yeah, that'd be crazy. Motherfuckers still living next to each other, like after all these years. Yeah, bro. Yo, what up?
That's crazy. I'm assuming like what in DR?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. I think that's more common.
No, and then here 17 years. The other
Oh,
person,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't have a lot of friends at all.
Yeah, do I?
I have a handful of people who call friends.
It's hard for me to call.
I have a lot of acquaintances.
So
No
let me ask you this because I have a couple of friend questions. So how do you decide the people that you guys want around you?
How do I decide the people that I want around you or the people
Yeah.
that I call a friend?
The people you call a friend.
Because that's two different questions.
The people that you call a friend is my question.
I don't think you decide it. I think it happens. Like I think it's
It's
one
just
of
this
those things.
connection.
Like I'm not gonna like you don't choose a friend. I think it just it blossoms into a friendship. Like it just grows into it. And then and a lot of it probably focuses more on their actions rather than what they be saying. Because I know a lot of people that I'm very, very cool with and very close with, and I wouldn't necessarily call them like a close friend. They may be close to like that friendship mark, because I know if I call them, more than likely like they'll be there. That kind of like doesn't matter the situation. But I don't think it's something that I decide. I think it happens. Like I don't have the choice.
It be the niggas that you don't like at first that end up becoming your best friend. Like you end up cool, like yo, and then y'all say, yo, I really didn't like you at first, bro. Don't worry, that wasn't the case.
I ain't give a fuck. I'm a cool boy. Nah, what about you?
What about me? What?
The question, motherfucker, how you decide what friend?
No, I, damn, that's the thing. I agree with him. I'm kind of the same way. Like, I don't kind of choose. It just happens. It's like one of those things that just happens. Like we just end up being cool. Like I guess it's more of things of like, you know, kind of like into the same shit. Like you vibe,
Yeah.
whatever. And kind of just. I think that's how it starts, or that's how it blossoms. In a sense, like what he said.
So how do y'all deal with losing friends?
Um, honestly, like it sucks, but it's like it is what it is, kind of thing.
So I feel like that shit is weird. Like,
Like losing a friend who died or some shit.
nah,
More
more
like
than yeah, just
maybe
like where
something
like
happened.
the friendship, but like where that friendship. Yeah, I guess I should have worded that a little differently. But
I don't know, just
just
it.
like the end of a friendship, like some like but the shit that you actually care about. Cause you know the shit like I don't know me, I ain't gonna lie. There's some shit that I'm like, damn, we was cool, but it was just like, all right, it is what it is. But then there's certain friendships that I'm like, all right, when like you stop being cool over some shit, you just be like, damn, like
Then that wasn't really a friendship because it's interesting. And I think as I'm a little older, I think about it differently. I have friendships that I still consider them friends, and maybe we grew distant, and then we see each other like after 5 or 6 years, and it's like no time happened in between. But that's just because life happens, and I think that's expected and it will happen. But the friendship itself is still there.
Yeah, but that's
so
a different scenario though. It's talking about when you lose a friend. Maybe something happened between y'all. Maybe he did you dirty or something.
yeah, but I think that like he kind of that was kind of more where I'm trying to like go to where I think that people like one of those things where like oh like that's if y'all don't speak a certain amount of time like if y'all don't
Yeah,
speak at like one like you said how in your example like if you go 5 or 6 years without speaking or some shit and y'all see each other and it's like same regular friendship like some people might feel like because we haven't spoken in the last 5 or 6 years we might not necessarily have that friendship or that bond.
Uh, I don't know. I don't think it's that way for me. Like I have friends that maybe we've, but once again, I don't have a ton. But like those that I do consider like a friend, that maybe we like. I ended up moving to Philly. They moved to Connecticut, so we like got separated by
Further,
distance.
yeah.
So we're now like in touch on a day to day like we used to. Like we may text back and forth, but like see each other. Maybe went a few years without seeing each other and then see each other, but it's like the same. But I know, and because it'll be the same for me. Like if he was to send me a text, was like, "Oh, I need this. Oh, can you help me out with this?" or "This is happening." Like I know I'm not gonna hesitate to do it, and very likely if it's within the means for him to do it, he won't hesitate to do it either. Uh, that kind of a thing. So I don't think you lose a friend. Like you maybe grow distant, but that's just part of life will happen and shit, and you have different responsibilities and different things to pay attention to. So by default, you probably have to shift your focus in life as needed. Um, but yeah,
I think in our 20s there's like a disconnect there somewhere where like certain people I think just certain people understand that at different times in their lives. Maybe like some people get that in their 20s, the 30s when they're younger, whatever. I think like at least for me, like it took me like I've been understanding that more the last like year or two or whatever. I was starting to understand that a little bit more. Where sometimes I feel I'm like, damn, well, like fuck, like were we not cool or some shit? And it's like not that. It's just that we both have different things that we're chasing and we're trying to achieve. We just doing different shit. So it's kind of like that distance will be there.
yeah, and I think the first time you would probably really experience that in life is like when you have a friend that either gets married or starts to have a kid.
hmm
Like
Yeah.
that's a very distinct difference in life that will make either you or that person have to do potentially a dramatic change in their lifestyle that will impact in the way that you guys interact with one another and how often you interact with one
Right.
another.
Have you guys ever lost a friend over some bullshit?
Mm, I haven't.
I wouldn't consider it bullshit. I would consider it like
No, I'm
real
saying
life shit. But I
like
didn't hear.
bullshit. Like it's like again, like if somebody did you dirty
Nah,
or something.
I ain't gonna. I fucked up. It was cool for a minute. I fucked that up, but it is what it is. Like
Oh, but you never
life
had
keeps
it done
going.
to you though. Like you
But
never lost a friend over something, like some
so
kind
where
of
they did some foul shit to me, and then like
yeah.
I started speaking to them. Yeah, but I look at like I'm like it's fucked up to say because I genuinely like really value my friends a lot, and I've met some great people that like I love them and shit, but like I feel like the only people that is gonna be there throughout my like from the day that I was born were there before me is my sisters, and when I die, like I feel like it's my sisters, and then I
hmm
was always gonna be there, and then like all my other friendships, I feel like are, at some point are gonna come and go. So like maybe one or two, whatever, might stay throughout my whole life, but I feel like the older I'm getting, I'm kind of just more
It
like
is
I
what
don't
it
know,
is.
yeah, like it is what it is. Like I
Yeah, it's
don't
like being
like
accepting of it. Like
Yeah, I think I'm more. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm more
Yeah.
accepting of the fact that like,
That's what I was saying earlier.
if friendships end, then it's just like, damn, like it sucks because I got love for this person because I really considered them my friend, so I love this person. I got love for them, but
But it is what it is.
yeah, like I'm not gonna die over this shit. Like
Right.
I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's not the end of the world.
Right. That's pretty much my outlook on that.
Thank y'all for watching another episode of Never Famous. Please hit the like, comment, subscribe, share. We appreciate y'all for tuning into this episode. And this is another episode of Audi. That's Vinny.
Really, my bad.
That's bro. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all. I'm a dumbass. I'm looking at that camera. That's not even facing me.